How to pack medications for a cruise just became a nightmare in 2025. If you're over 55 taking daily medications, cruise lines quietly change the rules to derail your vacation. Retirees with perfect records getting stopped at security, grandparents missing embarkation over blood pressure pills, heart medications confiscated. All because of hidden policy updates targeting seniors with multiple prescriptions. These new restrictions aren't about safety. They're about profit margins. Today, I'm exposing 12 hidden traps cruise lines set for mature travelers and how to pack medications for a cruise the right way to beat their system. Let's set sail. Starting with number 1, the carry-on only rule they don't emphasize. Cruise lines quietly updated baggage protocols in 2025. Packing medications in checked luggage is the number 1 vacation killer. They're washing their hands of responsibility when your checked bag goes missing with life-saving medications inside. Your checked luggage can get delayed, sent to the wrong ship, or lost entirely. And the cruise line won't compensate for missed medication or emergency medical costs. I witnessed a passenger forced to disembark on day 1 because her heart medication was trapped in lost luggage for 48 hours. When you check in, simply say you need confirmation that your essential medications are properly documented in your carry-on for medical emergency purposes. Don't ask, state it as standard procedure. Pro tip: pack a 48-hour buffer supply of critical meds in a separate carry-on compartment. Embarkation delays are at an all-time high in 2025. Now, you might think keeping pills in original bottles is obvious, but wait until you see what's really happening at security checkpoints. Number 2, the prescription label verification trap. Customs agents now photograph medication labels and cross-reference them with passenger manifests in real time. Transferring pills into convenient weekly organizers triggers major red flags at embarkation. Enhanced security partnerships between cruise lines and international customs mean every unlabeled pill gets scrutinized. I've seen passengers detained for 3 hours explaining generic vitamins because they couldn't prove what was in their pill organizer. When going through security, simply state that all your medications are in original pharmacy bottles with matching prescription labels for verification. Keep it matter of fact, like you've done this hundreds of times. Pro tip: take photos of all your prescription labels before leaving home. If a bottle gets damaged, you'll have backup proof. But listen, if you think proper labeling is enough protection, what I'm about to tell you next about documentation requirements will shock you. Number 3, the doctor's letter loophole. Cruise lines quietly require doctor documentation for medications, but don't tell passengers until problems arise. The 2025 protocols mean certain prescription categories trigger automatic reviews, and without proper documentation, you're stuck. I know someone who nearly missed their ship in the Caribbean because local authorities questioned their pain medication without a doctor's letter. Ask your doctor for a signed letter on letterhead confirming your prescription medications, dosages, and medical necessity for international travel. Frame it as routine travel preparation, not a special request. Pro tip: get your doctor's letter notarized. Some foreign ports now require this extra step that cruise lines forget to mention. And speaking of things they don't tell you, this next rule about quantity limits is brand new for 2025. Number 4, the bulk quantity secret restrictions. Cruise lines implemented hidden quantity limits they're not advertising. The 2025 security updates include automatic flags for commercial appearing medication quantities, and passengers get surprised at checkpoints. Bring more than a 30-day supply of common medications, and you'll trigger enhanced screening. One cruiser packed a 90-day supply of over-the-counter pain relievers for a 7-day cruise and faced a 2-hour customs interrogation. With guest services, mention that you'd like to pre-register your extended medication supply to avoid any embarkation delays or security concerns. Present it as being proactive about cruise protocols. Pro tip: the magic number cruise lines use internally is 21 days beyond your cruise length. Stay under this threshold. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and potentially expensive if you need refrigerated medications. Number 5. The Medical Refrigeration Upcharge Scheme. Cruise lines now charge hidden fees for medical-grade refrigeration that used to be free. The 2025 policy changes mean standard cabin fridges are explicitly excluded from medication storage liability, forcing you into premium medical storage services. Regular mini fridges aren't cold enough for insulin or biologics, and the cruise line won't take responsibility when your medications lose potency. They're betting you won't discover this until you're already on board. When booking, ask them to confirm that complimentary medical-grade refrigeration for prescription medications is included in your cabin amenities. Don't let them surprise you with charges later. Pro tip: if they try to charge you, mention ADA compliance. Medical refrigeration is often legally required at no extra cost. Now hold on. Before I reveal the next secret, if this is helping you out, hit that like button real quick. It tells YouTube to show this to more smart cruisers like you. And if you're into saving money and skipping cruise line tricks, go ahead and subscribe. What's coming next could seriously change how you cruise. Number 6. The International Port Medication Minefield. Cruise lines quietly shifted liability for international medication laws onto passengers. You're now responsible for researching every port's drug restrictions, and they're not helping. Common prescription medications legal in the U.S. can be controlled substances or illegal in Caribbean and Mediterranean ports. Cruise lines bury warnings in 47-page terms nobody reads. Tell guest services you need written confirmation that your prescription medications are legally acceptable in all ports on this itinerary. Get it in writing before you sail. Pro tip: the cruise line's secret weapon is plausible deniability. Always get medication clearance confirmations in writing. And finally, here's the most cutting-edge secret that even frequent cruisers are missing. Number 7. The Backup Supply Insurance Strategy. Cruise lines bet against you having backup medications because it drives revenue to their overpriced onboard medical services. The 2025 protocols include restrictions on medication sharing between passengers, making backup supplies critical. Putting all medications in one bag creates a single point of failure that benefits the cruise line's bottom line when you're forced to pay premium prices for emergency supplies from their limited pharmacy. Talk with your travel companion about cross-packing critical medication backups to protect against baggage issues. Frame it as a standard cruise safety protocol that smart travelers follow. Pro tip: pack 72 hours of backup supplies in a separate bag. Cruise medical centers charge up to 800% markup on common medications. Now, this next strategy about time zone management is something cruise lines hope you never figure out. Number 8. The Time Zone Dosage Disruption Trap. Cruise lines design schedules to maximize confusion around medication timing, especially on longer voyages. Frequent time changes create medication compliance issues that drive passengers to the expensive onboard medical center. Your medication schedule gets disrupted by ship's time zone changes, but medical staff aren't required to provide guidance unless you specifically request it and pay for a consultation. Ask the ship's medical staff for a complimentary consultation to adjust your prescription schedule for time zone changes during the voyage. Present it as a safety consultation rather than convenience. Pro tip: cruise medical staff are required to provide basic medication scheduling advice at no charge if you frame it as safety consultation. But wait, there's something even more important about the ship's medical limitations. Number 9. The Onboard Pharmacy Markup Conspiracy. Cruise lines deliberately stock limited medication supplies to force passengers into expensive emergency purchases. The 2025 updates include more restrictions on what the onboard pharmacy provides, while limiting passengers' ability to bring adequate personal supplies. When you run out of common medications, you face 500 to 800% markups for basic items that may not even be the exact formulation you need. Cruise lines profit from desperation buying at premium prices. Request confirmation of onboard availability and pricing for your medications before you depart port. The ship's medical center is required to provide this information for safety planning. Pro tip: The ship's medical center must provide a medication availability list if you request it for safety planning purposes. Now, here's a critical safety issue they definitely don't advertise. Number 10. The Sharps Disposal Revenue Stream. Cruise lines now monetize medical waste disposal. The 2025 policies include new fees for Sharps containers and medical waste handling. They're not advertising up front. If you use injectable medications, the cruise line will try charging you for specialized medical waste services that used to be included. They bet you won't know to negotiate this or come prepared with disposal solutions. At guest services, request that complimentary Sharps disposal service be confirmed for your medical necessity injectable medications. Don't let them surprise you with charges. Pro tip: bring your own travel-size Sharps container from your pharmacy. It's legal and prevents the cruise line from holding your medical needs hostage. This next rule could literally save your life in an emergency. Number 11. The Medical Emergency Information Blackout. Cruise medical staff aren't required to have access to your medication information in emergencies unless you specifically provide it in their exact format. The 2025 liability changes mean they can legally refuse treatment if they can't verify your medication interactions. Relying on digital records or memory is dangerous. Cruise medical systems can't access your phone or personal health apps. When seconds count in medical emergencies, this information gap can be deadly. At medical center check-in, tell them you need to register your complete medication list in their emergency medical system for safety protocols. This is a standard safety procedure they can't refuse. Pro tip: cruise medical centers are required to maintain medication lists at no charge when framed as emergency preparation. And here's the final secret that ties everything together. Number 12. The Cruise Line Liability Shell Game. Each cruise line has completely different medication policies designed to confuse you into making costly mistakes. The 2025 updates include more variations between cruise lines, making it impossible to rely on previous experience. What worked on Royal Caribbean might get you detained on Norwegian, and Celebrity's rules are completely different from both. Cruise lines coordinate to keep these differences secret so passengers can't effectively compare shops. When booking, ask for their specific written medication policy differences compared to other cruise lines to ensure full compliance. Customer service is required to provide this for medical safety compliance. Pro tip: each cruise line's customer service must provide written policy clarifications when requested for medical safety compliance. So, which medication rule shocked you most? Share your onboard pharmacy nightmare in the comments. Your experience could save thousands of cruisers from the same trap. And speaking of cabin experiences, our recent video about 14 things cabin stewards secretly hate reveals insider staff perspectives that could transform your next cruise. Don't forget to check that out next and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of cruise industry tricks. Sail smart, stay sharp, and never let the cruise lines outsmart you.